Well, we did it. 3,000 subscribers. To be honest, I don't even know what to say besides thank you. I don't have some crazy speech plan or anything. I'm just very grateful to everyone who stuck around and to all the new viewers who will also stick around. But here it is, what many people asked for, my top 30 anime. I was kind of debating on whether or not I should even make this video because in my opinion, it's very hard to pick 30 shows and movies to rank in order, especially when you're me, since this entire list could drastically change in just a few hours. But yeah, here is my top 30 anime for the 3K special. Remember that I haven't seen every single show in the world, and that this is my personal list. It's all subjective, and our top 30s could be, or they probably are, completely different, and that's okay. Also, because there's a good amount of anime here, I won't be giving my thoughts on every single series I show. And because it's technically not an anime, Netflix's Castlevania will not be making an appearance. But if it did, that would 100% be top 15, maybe even top 10 worthy. That show is so good, even if you haven't played the games. And finally, I'll also share my thoughts on if I prefer the English or Japanese dubs of each show. English will be referred to as dub. It's a monster! And the Japanese voices will be referred to as sub, because you watched the Japanese audio with your preferred subtitles. Now let's get started with number 30 being Bakemonogatari. Now, I watched this show a long time ago and sadly I haven't finished it yet, but the few episodes I did watch were just great. This is the kind of show where I had no idea what was going on. It was weird and very confusing. After reading some explanations of it and rewatching those episodes though, I can't think of any other way to describe it besides unique. Minus the crazy amounts of fan service, which I just don't enjoy, the story is extremely good, interesting, and thought-provoking. Its use of metaphors are also super weird, but also very different compared to other things I've seen, making it that much more enjoyable. I could honestly see Bakemonogatari being placed at a higher spot on this list once I finish it, and hopefully if the main character gets better. Yeah, this is a very big hot take, but I find Araragi to be an insufferable character at the part I was. He's just annoying and he isn't interesting at all. He's just the typical, pervy character. Also, the soundtrack is great. I prefer the sub, though it can go really fast sometimes. I have to rewind a lot because the people who voice the characters just talk way too fast for me. At 29, we have Dr. Stone. Great show, but I just prefer the manga and thought the pacing of season 2 could have been better. The dub is okay, but I ultimately prefer the sub. 28 is The Disastrous Life of Saiki K, the original, not the Netflix version. English dub all the way in my opinion. I'm really sad they canceled it. Number 27 is Jujutsu Kaisen. Really dope battle shonen with great animation, power system, and characters. I cannot wait for season 2. I really didn't like the dub for this one, so I'm just gonna go with sub. Number 26 is Your Name. I just thought the sub had more emotion in my opinion. 25 is Your Lie in April. Loved the music in this one. It also has a super solid cast of characters, and shout out to Nico for getting me into the show. The dub was fine. I could go either way. Number 24 is ReZero. I really need to continue this because it is not what I expected, and I'm really not a fan of the isekai genre. Do not let the cover fool you. This show is insane. The dub had its moments, but hearing the screams in the original Japanese voices was just crazy. They did an insane job. Number 23 is Afro Samurai. Samuel L. Jackson voicing both main characters, swords, and a soundtrack made by RZA and a bunch of other super good rappers. How can you possibly hate this show?
What about honor and fairness and shit? Let him RPG. You got a motherfucking RPG? RPG in a motherfucking backpack? Wait.
I don't think a Japanese dub even exists for this, so English, obviously. Number 22 is A Silent Voice. I think the dub and sub are equally great. 21 is Princess Mononoke, my personal favorite Ghibli movie so far, and I found the sub to be better. Number 20 is Erased. This anime is just crazy, and I actually really loved the anime original ending. Though the manga's was better, I didn't have a problem with it. The only character I really liked in dub was the main character and his mom. I thought their voices were pretty good, so I'd say that overall the sub was better. Number 19 is Parasite the Maxim. I think Erased has a better story, but Parasite is kind of more my thing with the aliens and the fighting. The main character is also super good, and I absolutely loved his development throughout the story. Same for this character. I completely forgot her name, but she was awesome. The dub was okay. It was fine, I guess. The sub was definitely more enjoyable. Number 18 is Dorohedoro, the best Netflix anime. I heard the manga is overall, like, way better, but I still think that this is an awesome show with a great atmosphere to it. Netflix, please give us season 2, please, I'm begging you. The dub is also fine. I mean, Zenitsu, the guy who voices Zenitsu voices Kaimon, and he did a pretty solid job, but I prefer the sub for the voices because they just sound way cooler, like N, I think that's his name, the guy who's got the, like, red Vegeta hair. At 17, we got the original Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah, I actually really liked this one. Not only do I have a lot of nostalgia for it, I just thought the story was super good, even if it heavily deviates from the source material. And I loved the vibe of the original compared to Brotherhood. I find it to be much more violent, much more dark. Though it has a lot of comedy, don't remember it being, like, misplaced or added at bad times, which was a problem I personally had with Brotherhood. It was just really cool, and the ending was absolutely crazy. Dub all the way for this as well. I absolutely love the English cast for Full Metal Alchemist. Number 16 is going to be highly controversial, but we have Berserk The Golden Age Art 3, The Advent. Another hot take, yeah. I think this is Berserk's best adaptation at the moment. Even though it's nothing compared to the manga, it executed the eclipse perfectly in my eyes. And personally, I thought it was more disgusting than the manga, which is a very difficult thing to do. Now, though I said this is the best adaptation, technically I'm lying because I think so far the Memorial Edition, which is basically the 3 movies chopped up into episodes with extra content, I think that is the most accurate adaptation compared to the manga, but I never finished that, so I'm not sure if they added characters like Wild and all that, and I don't know if they added a bunch of extra good stuff to the eclipse scenes, so that's why I've excluded it and I'm only counting the 3rd movie. Though I prefer the English dub voices for movies 1 and 2, the Japanese cast went above and beyond to the point where I would say this movie has some of the craziest Japanese voice acting in anime history. Sub all the way. Number 15 is Death Note. The sub was great, but I really liked the English cast. 14 is Odd Taxi, the definition of do not judge a cover by its book. The definition of do not judge a book by its cover. The definition of do not judge a book by its cover. This is probably the best mystery anime I have ever seen. Great and relatable cast, do not let the animal-looking characters or the art style fool you. This show is super messed up, and it has one of my favorite plot twists in all of anime. I found the English cast to be super mediocre and underwhelming, so I'd say that I preferred the sub. 13 is Hunter x Hunter, specifically the 2011 version. This would be ranked higher, but the election arc is just super boring in my opinion, to the point where I just like dropped the show, which I really need to pick up because Nito keeps telling me, trust me, the ending is amazing. But other than that, I think it's just really good shonen. I mean, it has a super solid cast, great fights. The ant arc is, though super slow, I personally didn't have a problem with the slowness, but it is just a super great arc. Kurapika and Meruem are the best characters in my opinion. The dub was also awful in my opinion, besides, well, Meruem. Number 12 is Vinland Saga. Only season 1 though, because I haven't watched season 2 yet. I want to read that first. Both English dubs were meh to me. Thorfinn, Thor's, and the other main characters' voices just fit better in Japanese to me. 11 is Mob Psycho 100. I don't even know what to say. This is probably one of, if not the most satisfying anime I have ever seen, and I can't believe it's finally over. Fantastic visuals, insanely good story, great use of emotion, the cast is absolutely perfect. I could go on and on. The sub is great, but I watched this whole anime in English and absolutely loved it. Please watch this. Here we are at the top 10. Remember when I said Dorohedoro was the best Netflix anime? Well, move aside, because at number 10, we have Devilman Crybaby. The most brutal, weird, and disgusting anime I have ever seen. But it is so good. That ending messed me up too. The dub was there's only like one scene I really liked in the English dub. The sub went crazy though. At number 9, we've got Fate. I originally was going to add each Fate separately, but that is just way too difficult. So here is Fate Zero, Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, Heaven's Feel 1 and 2 altogether. I haven't seen Heaven's Feel 3 or the spin-offs yet. This is Ufotable's best work, and though I haven't seen Demon Slayer Season 3, I will continue saying that until the day I die. I love the story, the magic, the idea of the master and servant battles is just awesome, really good concept. It's just such a cool series with a fantastic story and cast thrown in. Like, I can't describe this show, or this series I should say, other than just awesome. The dub was just not for me. I thought it was really boring, so sub all the way. Number 8 is Akira. Where do I even start? This movie is so goated, it made new colors. What? This movie is just so ahead of its time, it's insane. I love it. Both English dubs are so lazy, it's hilarious. I love old cheesy anime dubs. Sub all the way, 100%. Number 7 is Neon Genesis Evangelion and End of Evangelion. I didn't want to separate these two as well because that was too difficult. Similar to Bakemonogatari, I had no idea what was going on without the help of like the Evangelion wiki and millions of YouTubers explaining it to me, but I still think it's great. I'm a big robot fan, so even when I had no idea what was going on, seeing giant robots fighting angel stuff, I don't even know what like the angel things, it's insane. And End of Evangelion is even crazier, even though it takes place between 2 episodes, so you have to watch it different. I don't even know. The dub was super annoying and changed a lot of the dialogue, which I wasn't a fan of, so definitely sub. Number 6 is Fooly Cooly. Probably the best 2 hours I've ever spent watching an anime. It's weird. I also didn't understand a thing that happened, yet I still had an amazing time watching it. It also has the best soundtrack ever, in my opinion, and that's counting movies, the other anime, TV shows. This is my favorite soundtrack of all time. If only the sequels were as good as the original. The dub isn't actually that bad. I definitely prefer the sub, but I didn't think the English cast did that bad, especially Haruko's character. She had like a really good voice. At number 5 is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Man, I just love this show so much. The story just doesn't stop getting better. The lore is crazy with like the Ishvalans and the stuff about Ed's father, the government, the alchemy. Man, I genuinely don't know what to say. I just think this anime is close to perfection compared to other anime. It's super easy to understand, has a goated cast, an insane story with even more insane animation, and a super good and satisfying ending. I wish I could rewatch this for the first time. The only issue I had with this was the comedy being placed at bad moments. I thought the timing for some of the comedy was awful, but that's not really that big of a deal because it doesn't happen all the time. English dub all the way. Like the original, I absolutely love the English cast in this series. Number 4 is Code Geass, and my opinion on it is pretty similar to FMAB. That's why I think number 5 and 4 are swappable. I just think both shows are great. Also, I'm specifically talking about Lelouch of the Rebellion, the original series, and not the movies. Japanese dub was good, but I personally thought the dub was much better, especially Lelouch and Suzaku. Number 3 is Attack on Titan. To be honest, I don't think I need to explain myself. Just watch Attack on Titan. Also, some people might not like that this is over Code Geass, but I don't know. Code Geass and Attack on Titan have been fighting for my number 3 and number 4 spot constantly in my top 10. And I just think, overall, I think I might like Attack on Titan more. I might have to rewatch Code Geass, though. The dub, for the most part, was just really bad to me. It just sounded super goofy minus a few moments. Also, there's too many good and iconic Japanese voice actors in Attack on Titan. Sub all the way. Number 2 is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now, a lot of people might disagree, but I don't care. JoJo, in my opinion, has one of the best stories I have ever seen in general, and just keeps getting more and more and more unique and different without throwing the viewer off balance or screwing up the story. The way each part connects itself in either small or big ways is so fun to witness. to the point where I have the anime adaptation equal to the manga for every part. It also has my favorite power system and cast in all of anime and manga, and I absolutely loved the Part 6 adaptation. And I'm not talking about the way it was distributed. Netflix killed it by releasing it in episode batches. I just mean the episodes themselves. It also has like the dopest voice acting in all of anime. It's insane how good it is. I could talk about JoJo forever.
The voice actress of Jolene Cujo was so adamant on getting the Aura Rush down that she bought a metronome and timed Jotaro's auras. After she found the rhythm of the Aura Rush, she then made a soundproof room in her house so she wouldn't disturb people when she was yelling and screaming. And then when she was in the booth, she would always look over at Jotaro's voice acting and go like, did I do it right? Am I good?
Yeah, the dub is straight up awful. Like, to the point where me and my friends Nico and Xander listened to, like, I think it was like a 20-minute video just filled with bad and funny moments of the dub, and we were just dying of laughter. But now, here is my number one spot. My number one anime of all time. We've seen a lot of solid shows like Code Geass, Full Metal Alchemist, Attack on Titan, but in my opinion, none of them compare in terms of hype and greatness. My favorite anime of all time is Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. This show is the most enjoyable and hype thing I've ever seen, and the movies are somehow even better. This is Gainax's best anime by far in terms of story, animation, and everything. Like Evangelion and Fooly Cooly, because I can actually understand what's going on. I don't have some deep or complex reason as to why this show is my favorite. It's over the top. It has an insane plot with an even crazier cast of characters. It's peak. It's peak. I'm just gonna say that. That's what it is. This show legit has everything that I love. It has comedy, emotion, insane action, huge robot. I just said huge Roblox. Huge robots, complex, unique, and inspiring characters with a near perfect ending. It also has probably my favorite fight scene in all of anime, if we're like excluding Castlevania, because that's not an anime. The final fight from the second movie, I already talked about that enough on my other social media though, so I'm not even going to bother explaining why I love it so much. The dub is pretty good. Sasuke/PlayStation Spider-Man voices the main character, so that's pretty cool. But the sub was infinitely better, in my opinion. But that is my personal top 30 anime. I hope you got some good recommendations from this. If you did enjoy, hitting all those supporting buttons would be much appreciated, and checking out my other social media like Instagram and Fiverr, because I'm super active on Instagram with like posting updates on my content on my story, and Fiverr if you ever need an intro, thumbnail, or outro. But yeah, that's the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.